Hello and welcome everyone to this wonderful podcast. And this here is going to be an experience sharing podcast. We have three wonderful coaches from the Twin Flames universe. So I would like to welcome Sudikya, Anvensha, and Asha. And so, how do you feel about this podcast? About sharing your experiences and sharing those stories. I wanted something human in this podcast where there is learning, but that learning is through stories. So I'm very honored to be here, and I already feel very good about listening to a lot of stories from all of you. And I would like to begin in that. If someone has anything to say, so please go ahead. Why
Shruti,
is everyone so silent? I mean,
because
everyone is just poker face.
you said stories, we are all good person for now. So we're like trying to recollect all stories now.
No, you don't need to recollect anything. Like as Sudikya says, that let God allow the stories to flow.
Yeah, I do feel a bit of jitteriness, but at the same time, I think there is no story I have not shared with the TFU community already. I feel my journey is like, complete, like transparent piece. It's out there, like, from the beginning. So I feel all my stories belong to God. So whatever God,
Absolutely.
like tells me to share, I'll just go ahead and share, and I hope that that helps anyone who is going through a difficult time in their twin flame journeys, and we are here to like support you guys.
Definitely. So I have always felt that stories stick with people and
Mm,
stories help us overcome our fears and challenges. Um, the concept as such, and so we learn about the concepts and we learn about the teachings, but the stories just inspire us. So I'm hoping for a lot of inspirational stories. So the format for this podcast was I thought that I'll just make a statement and I would like you guys to volunteer and share the stories with respect to that statement. Does that sound good?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first statement was the hardest part of my twin flame journey was like personal vulnerability or some real struggle that you have been through that you would like to share with us. Let's start with a bang. Sudikya, would you like to go first?
Yeah, so for me, the toughest part is really, letting go of my false twin flame, because I had really stuck on to the belief that all the spiritual, woo woo, as Jeff calls it, that I was feeling was actually directing me to a certain person. And as I heal, I was not seeing, or I was seeing, but I was not really ready to accept that spiritually that person was falling off from my life. Okay, there were interactions, there was friendship, there was love, but as my coach said, that spiritually, that is that real situation still possible between you guys? Are you moving together towards life purpose? All those things were clearly not happening, and I was just sort of attaching myself to the idea that this is the energy which is my twin flame. And because all the signs, all the synchronicities were there, the connection was there, there was a lot of reciprocation about the term from their side also, but it was a little ungrounded, where the connection, whenever I felt into it, whenever I tried to live it, used to take more from me than give that divine container which like sort of supports your union. So I healed a lot, and then came a point where I just had to accept that I need to let this go. So there are still parts of me where I'm still, in that letting go process, trying to question, trying to feel into it and see. But every moment like I have doubt, I just go to the teachings and I open up the pages around false twin flame and true twin flame and just let go of what I believe in. Because I've seen that the teachings do support, you know, my union, not my union with a person on the outside, but my union as, the as in the journey of ascension to God. So whenever I stick to the teachings, when I see that okay, this person is giving out these signs, not giving out these signs, supporting me, not supporting me, that actually helps me grow rather than staying fixed with a label or something on the outside, which sort of people call twin flames. So yeah, that is for me the toughest part, because once your heart gets really attached to someone, it's crazy tough. But the moment you get, like, that is the biggest thing, biggest lesson on the journey. Like as Jeff and Julia say, that taking God as your divine lover, and I'm understanding that, because to let go of the false, I have to really connect with the energy of God here and see that it's not supporting me the way God would. So that is where I'm coming to clarity that yes, probably this is not a true twin flame connection, and I'm trying to let it go. But yes, since there is so much attachment, it's the most difficult thing on my journey.
I'm sure like everyone who's listening to this podcast is going to connect to this because everyone has so high like levels of attachments with their first twin flames. So
Yeah, I feel more than false twin flame, I think we have a lot of attachment to who we see on the physical as a twin
felt,
flame
yeah.
person, rather than, allowing God to show that to us. Because for me, it was always more than a twin flame journey, it was a love story, which was, I was so attached to about things going this way, that way. And then, I used to honor it as a twin flame journey. For me, first, it was a love story and all that. But the kind of mess it became, because I was not choosing to connect it to it in the right way, that it is about God first, then me, and then that relationship allows my true twin flame to actually show up. So since I was not, like, I was trying to do that in my mind but not really in my heart, and to come to that shift, it took me some time. And right now also, yes, it's I think the most toughest thing I've ever done. But yes, calling in more God, living my life with God, really sharing my day, even if I'm not talking to anyone, I'm just talking to God, doing things which I really love, and not looking for that relationship, that companionship outside. That is really allowing me to let go and detach.
On that note, I would like to share something today. So today in the morning, before going to office, I had like 10 minutes of time and I just um, was feeling comfortable on a couch and I closed my eyes. I was in that heart space. And even when I was moving my hand, and I was like, it just hit me that um, I want my twin flame in that heart space. I don't, meaning for the first time for me, it did not matter how the twin flame looks or how the twin flames, like, feels in 3D. I mean, for the first time, I felt that, okay, like more important than the physical appearance or the mental compatibility or anything. I just want to share that heart space that I was in, like for those 5 minutes, and I was like, wow, it would be so amazing to be just able to share that garden of love that you have within yourself,
Yes. That is what love is. It's relaxing. It's peaceful.
feeling peaceful.
Yeah, yeah, so true.
Thank you for this. And Vensha, would you like to share something with us?
Yeah, like letting go of the false twin flame um, was the hardest thing to do, probably because when like I began my journey, it was through a specific person. And then every time like I healed in phases, this person did show up. So it wasn't like he was falling off completely. but then there was communication, there was everything. So every time you, like, you come to that space that now I don't, like, there's a trigger, there's a fight, and then, like, I don't want this person, and he can't be my twin flame, and then immediately when you take all of your power back and the person shows up, so it's like you feel that, oh, I just loved myself and the person showed up, right? So he is the one, and that is how we connect with the experiences. But then also, like, what I realized was that what made me believe that he was my twin flame was also like the trauma bond that I, like, the trauma that I had with my father. And I saw him having those qualities that I did not see in my own father, like, as a child. So in a way, like, I wanted to be fathered by him, but then I like, it was mistaken as my twin flame. But then, like, that process, like, from when, like, my coach spoke those 9 channel signs, and even after that, it took me more than 10 months to be able to realize that, yeah, this could be my false twin flame, because that attachment was so strong, and also the ideas that, oh, I have healed, he has shown up. But then, like, what I'm currently, like, struggling with in my own journey, like, as I let him go, I feel good. I feel more peaceful. I feel um, calm, more energetic. But then the idea of seeing someone else as my twin flame, or even, like, saying that, yeah, this person could be my twin flame and could not be my twin flame, comes with that fear that there's a part of me that does not want to accept. And I still want to keep myself in that bubble that I'm exploring. And that is where, all the past memories start to kick, even though, like, you feel good, you feel energized, you feel aligned, you feel, like, peaceful, like, because I have heard up until now that when you're with your twin flame, you're, like, feeling a different kind of peace. But when that peace is there, just being yourself, that is when all sorts of, like, these memories start to come up, and that's when you're sitting in silence, and that is when, like, oh, what if this person comes back again as my twin flame, and what if I just end up attracting another soulmate? And, like, so, like, there's this part of me that wants to accept that I am following the right path, but then there's also, like, so much of fear that no, 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 you're gonna get burned. So letting go of that and just completely surrendering to the divine flow, divine order, and just, even if, like, whatever happens, just trusting the process that you need this lesson or you need this to happen. So yeah, like, that was difficult, like, the hardest part in my journey, because for a long time I also felt like, no, 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 I'm not attached to him, but I was, and I was. And for that, like, literally I had to take mind alignment process. I had to, like, heal my trauma,
I'm so
lift it up. So yeah, now that I look back, it feels easy. But when you are in that situation, it feels like your world is collapsing. What if, like, I remember, and, like, I'm prolonging it. There was this time when I had a meeting with another community member, and like, my coach had just mentioned a couple of days ago that looks like he's your false twin flame. And then I had this meeting with this person, this other person, and he has already gone through, like, a false twin flame experience. And then he's like, what happened, you look so dull? And, like, oh, the person I believe is my twin flame can be my false twin flame. And his reaction was like, oh, it's fine, you're gonna move through it. And I was like, what? He's not at all feeling bad for me, not at all, little bit. And then now I realize why, because I also feel that now, that, oh, he's the false twin flame, feels good, because then you feel that all that energy coming back, because yes, as Sudhika also mentioned, you're just giving too much in the connection, and you're not even getting bare minimum of it. And every time you're just talking, even with the false twin flame, it feels like something is just, slipping. And now that when that got cut, you feel good. And that is when you're like, yeah, it was for good. And when other people reacted in that way, that let it go, it's going to be great. So that is when you feel like, yeah, it is great. It is definitely like good. So, yeah.
Somewhere I'm feeling this, like, with our false twin flame, it is only us who don't realize how much extra we are giving in that relationship. I think a
Yeah.
lot of other people see this, other people are able to see that, this might not be the twin flame connection because we feel so attached to our twin flame. We don't want to see anything. And the other person won't say anything to us, but it just feels that the other person is able to just see through it, like, maybe. But thank you for being so vulnerable. I mean, to share this, it's the
Thank
hardest. And yeah, definitely it takes a lot of courage.
you.
Asha, we are here.
Yeah, two false twin flame stories. Okay, so what's coming for me?
What has been the hardest thing for you to do on your twin flame journey?
Yeah, so the hardest thing for me is actually letting go of my job. I'm still working on it. So, because in the previous life, right, before coming into the journey, obviously you are not, you think you're like, you probably a person who has a lot of wisdom and all that, but ideally you're not because you're still living in the ego. So, and I was sort of an ambitious woman from the time I could remember myself. So I wanted to do all that, and I get really inspired by the women CEOs, especially. Um, and I have certain constrict on this sort of like the corporate stuff. So obviously, then my first marriage, I had to let go and sacrifice myself on my career because then I thought, that was my true love, and I had to, leave for the, stuff. And there were certain conditions in that marriage. So I let go of my career completely. It was a sacrifice I did. So then obviously life and God has other plans. And obviously my life turned through, this person is not even in my life. So that was the time my children were very small. And imagine a lady who is no support from anywhere because family, everyone like kind of got rid of the hand. And I was like literally standing. My feeling at the time was about like I'm in the middle of the ocean. I can drown any point of time. So I have two choices. Either drown or I swim. So I chose to swim. Literally no help. Only my dad and mom was there, but they were kind of like in the external world. They were also helpless, kind of, sort of. So yeah, I chose to swim, and that's where I started my career. Uh, so that's where you also feel that God is there with you in the journey, even though now when you heal through, it's very tough to sort of like believe that God is there. I can't see God quite. God is not working with me, but I do have real experience. God put me straight away into a Fortune 500 company without no experience. And I have no clue what to do because I'm also in the trauma state of, because this person passed away. It was a kind of accident and it was really like tough. So, but somehow I chose to learn there and I started my career. And obviously I did really well and I had good growth. And like 4 years in my career, I was like, because I get inspired by all my senior managers. So I had this, again, the construct, the idea that I need to be by this age in this position, because that's a growth path I defined for myself. And I had to really go very fast in that because I lost some of my time already, losing, not working. So, and I haven't shared this on any platform, by the way. So this is the first time I'm sharing. Yeah. So I was very fast in the career and kind of like doing everything I could. At the same time, I'm giving equally to my children because they were very small. And because it's like a perfect idea of a balanced woman who's taking care of profession and also the house. Because in corporate world, we always talk about like balancing your work and the life, right? And many of us couldn't do because either you take on work or you take on like your family. But I was actually doing well in both. Maximum I could, obviously can't do 100%. Yeah, so God has other plans for sure. So in 2013, yeah, 12 or 13, I know I always get confused with this year, but it was like October 10. So now I really understand, what is this meaning. So it was a very dramatic day. The previous day was like news from US. It's a US company in US that it's getting laid off. And obviously Indians, we have a belief that India never it happens. But I had this intuition and I'm connecting to everyone like what's happening, what's happening. And I told my manager also, there is something for us, please get prepared. So October 10, morning 9:30 at office, 9 o'clock at office. I came, I have this intuition. I told my another colleague, take my laptop, please move all the files into your C drive. I literally asked him to, because I have my personal stuff and everything. I told him, please do that. In 15 minutes, we all got a mail that please meet at this room, like 5 of us in the team, including the manager. And I know, okay. So MD of the company was there in the meeting room, coming to us, giving a news, you're laid off. So yeah, that was a shocking moment because for me, my world has ended again. So that was another sign from the universe where you really need to move, but it didn't move me out of the career because obviously I was unaware of what's happening around. But yes, it given me turning point to look at what's happening in my life. So from that moment, I started looking at what is that, and I went to different modalities, the path from astrology to some other energy and energy modalities and all that's like searching for myself. Obviously, then I moved into another better job, obviously, better salary and everything because God is taking care, your financial requirement. So all that happened, and finally, yeah. So yeah, I came to, no, I didn't come to TFU. It was just before that again, because I went into my own comfort zone. I know the things are not really working out the way I want to be. The growth is not happening. So God has to give me another shaking experience. Like what God did the way is like, He just given me an international job offer. And it was like, oh wow. It's like, something is coming to my door and asking me, like knocking the door, do you want to take this? I was like, okay. So all my ego feeling was like, I'm something like superstar, because offers are coming to my door. It's just for fun I took actually. I didn't want to do anything. But then my ego was really pushing me to, you have to go, you have to go. I don't know why I have to go. I didn't see any practical, logical reason for me to move to another country because I set up everything so logically I set up everything. I had a very good plan for my life. I have, done my all requirements. So I had like 2019, this one, 2020, this, 2022, this. I have a very good plan. So So 2019 was this, experience. In 2020, I don't know, the COVID also came. It was clearly another sign I should not move. Except one person, one of my friend, everyone else was against my decision. I was like, no, whether it is COVID or anything, God is with me. I'm going to go. In the peak of the COVID, like when it is just reducing, I moved. And the flight, it was only like 6 or 7 people actually, because no one was traveling at that time. And without any fear, I traveled. We didn't get COVID, nothing happened. Yeah, and I landed. So my destiny was in this country to do my healing. So that is another reason. I think I shared in the last podcast this one. And yeah, then obviously I also had a false twin flame at that time. So this person entered because that was the time I probably opened up, seeing that I should maybe, something I felt. I don't know what was it exactly. But then I was unaware of the journey. And then obviously, like after 7, 8 months, things went wrong and all the stuff, all that time. Then, yeah. So my journey with Twin Flames Universe started anyway. So now the point is like the career, right? So the career, because you're supposed to do something in your life. That's what God created. That's all the teaching is about. But for me, like letting go of the corporate glamorous world, because the way I have attached myself to that, it's very difficult because I just can't see something like twin flame ascension or being an ascension coach from a spiritual perspective, it wasn't glamorous for me. So when I became a coach, but still I was not fully accepting myself. And then my job, obviously, it is a karmic job, as both of you said, false twin flame and karmic and all the stuff. For me, the job was my karmic. So the karmic job, I had a lot of patterns. Extremely, like every pattern I repeated in my current organization from my first job to till now. Only the people faces are different, but every pattern I have this here. But I didn't understand. But it took me a lot of time and still healing, because still it's not able to come to that. But I'm more into my acceptance of like, what is my spiritual purpose? For me, spiritual world is not glamorous, and I'm a person who really like the lifestyle and everything. So for me, like integrating that material stuff in our ascension journey is something which it was very hard for me to bring to my reality, because often, like from coming from a culture, so we have spirituality is totally different, right? So we don't really attach material stuff. But for me too, that wealth is something, it's a core of your foundation, and it's like that's something, it's God given to you. Accepting that is like, it's very difficult. So then also seeing myself like serving God. How can I serve God? Every time when I think of this, Mother Teresa comes into my like mind, because it's like the way she served people. Am I supposed to do that way? No. But then idea of like, how do I, service God or serve God is something like, I'm not able to get into that very depth of it. But yes, I am into that process and I'm understanding now. And funny thing is like, in my current job, when my manager, like every time he speak, like, we are servant leaders. I'm like, okay, you are giving me the hint now. What does it mean by? Every time I say that we are servant leaders, we are here to, our team is like service the other team. So he always bring this servant leadership kind of, things. So I get that now. Okay, I'm getting signs and, messages from God. I understand. So the career thing, basically like how you can build up a career. What is that meant for you? What is my core desire? So even in my corporate, like, I had a very core desire of my ambition. Like there's something I really want, but then I was trying to like push it in there, but it was not working. But then how do I integrate in the spiritual life purpose is something I am healing and exploring. So it looks like it is getting clear day by day as I heal. So many people have this question, like, my job, it's not something working. What do I do? I'm not liking, I'm not having fun, all those things. Then obviously, like the message is like, so God had given you something because you need to pay the bills. You need to sustain your life at this moment till you have that clear idea of your life purpose, what it is. So till then you have something to, hang on and, do things, because God never abandoned you. God always like, hold you in your hand and give you what is required. But at the same time, when this is a time for the lessons, you will hit that hard path where you have to move through, those upset. And for me, those time, like last 1 year or 1.5 years was like terribly bad and terribly tough, because that's where my entire this transition thing, actually happening. So yeah, so my hardest lesson is also like, it's not always people who come as karmic. So please understand, everyone who is moving through third parties and karmic energies, where your twin flame is another relationship or, marriage or something. It's not that always a person you need to deal with, but it's your own job also can be, or something else can be, in your karmic situation where you will have to move through. Yeah, it's a lot of lessons to learn, and I'm so glad that having this teachings of union where, you literally like know what is that, and also the life purpose class. And when I watch it again, now I really get that message. Maybe previously wasn't so much of upsets, was not really clearly getting those, but now when you healed a major portion, When you listen to the class again, you will understand. Okay, so this is what. But I think too much of hurt and too much of things, it sometimes you don't get the message. Yeah, that's my story I wanted to share.
I
Probably.
think it was in Rishikesh. I remember that there were a lot of discussions with respect to sannyas, and this
Hmm.
topic came up, and Vinsha would also know, Sidike would also know, that a lot of the students were discussing this topic with respect to sannyas. Okay, that if you are supposed to just give up everything and like in order to ascend, then do we need to give up money? Do we need to give up all the luxuries? And do we need to give up everything? And that is when like the coaches used to tell us that no, you don't have to give up anything and you don't have to be in that zone of.
Hmm.
So this is the block of sannyas that
Yeah. But like, especially my experience also, when you're like ignoring this stuff, like your life purpose and everything, because sometimes you are too much into other healings, you don't really pay attention. But then there's a time you will have to. God will make you, to kind of give that, pay that attention. So at that time, it feels like everything is falling off. It literally like what you have built up in your previous life, everything is gone. For me, it was like that, I threw off everything in India and I came here. I literally had only like few clothes, nothing else was there. So it looks like I had to restart, rebuild again. So now again, whatever, like, if I move back, it's the same thing. But probably I will not be that harsh on myself when I was the previous time. And it may be a different way to look at it now. But it feels like it will fall off everything. It is falling off everything. So definitely that can be a feeling. But it's all needs to, it's coming for us to, work through those situations.
I was listening to your story, but something just was I was talking to myself as well. The thing was I was like, yeah, like this is fearless Asha, and yeah, Asha means hope. So fearlessly hopeful.
Yeah.
So that was coming, and I was like, yeah, absolutely true.
It all feels to be funny because literally used to say in my like 5 6 years before, like Asha means like, because when you have to introduce yourself in a, like meetings and others, Asha means hopeful, especially like to the foreigners, right? So it's all funny, like, but whatever you said earlier, it was all meaningful for your journey. And I also remember, like, in one of our this workshop, there was idea of like, what is your passion? Something like, what is your something was there, and I literally wrote like, I need to find myself. So everything is like meaningful now.
Very true.
Yeah. That's something like, a lot of people ask me what's the meaning of my name, and that is to invent. So before my spiritual journey, anybody used to ask me that, what's the meaning of your name? And I used to tell them it's to invent. And people very candidly ask me, what all did you invent? Like, I don't know, not even myself up until now. But then, it makes sense. Like, because my mom wanted to name me Kanika or Disha, like, and then my dad changed the name. He read it somewhere and he changed the name. And he was like, no, her name is going to be this only. His perspective was that the name, like her name should be unique. Like, but then when I found out, I was like, God gave me this name on purpose so that I'm able to like find myself. And I feel like your name does play like a
A very important role, yeah.
huge role in your life. Like, definitely, which is why like I named Zoro also as like Zoravar, because Zoravar is like a very spiritual warrior, zeal, and he's like my soul pet. Like whenever I'm moving through anything or even upheavals or anything, like he's upheaving along with me. So yeah,
But that is also something like you're inventing your own path. You're exploring your own path.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's like, God has already invented. You can't reinvent anything. You're just surrendering to the flow. And basically, it's like you're reinventing in this ego driven
You're
life.
actually just exploring, but like we humans say that okay, this is an invention. On
Yeah.
that, what does Sudikya mean?
Yeah, interesting. Even I.
So, Diksha is the Sanskrit for like जो दीक्षा देते हैं, right?
Charity or like repayment?
Diksha is when you like initiate someone on the spiritual path.
Hmm.
So Diksha means that in Assamese, Diksha translates to Diksha, and so Diksha is like good Diksha. So that is the meaning of Sudiksha, and this was given to me by my grandfather. So I feel like he was also in a way an unionist because I used to find a lot of books on unionism in general, not the twin flame path in general, like the teachings of union and all. Like which he had written a few things and all, and so he had sent, I think, a list of names which are like, sounds a little tough to my mom, and then she chose this name or something, so it's like my grandfather actually initiated it and my mom sort of like concluded, okay, this is what she's going to be named.
Yeah,
Oh,
but like as a
beautiful.
coach, you're also like, it's the same thing aligning. Like when people come for to you for like coaching, you're giving that like, just passing it on, like helping them with their awakening. So yeah.
So let's come to the second question. The biggest breakthrough I experienced in this journey was, so, which was your most transformative moment, which you feel like, okay, this is like Eureka. This is, I know, like in last couple of years, there have must have been a lot of defining moments because there are so many times when we feel, okay, like this was just right here, but I was not able to just pinpoint it, and therefore, obviously, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go first this time. Like,
the stage is all yours.
yeah. So, like, this is a journey of breakthroughs, and like, there are a lot of upsets, there are a lot of things, but actually, after I started to heal, my biggest breakthrough was like the biggest support that I received from my father because, like, um, I never had like in the ego world it was like a good relationship, but when you understand the spiritual dynamics of it, it was like not a great relationship. So a lot of people also come to this journey that, oh, my parents are not agreeing for my twin flame, I'm going to have to let go of my parents and everything. So that desire to be with God in me was so this thing that I never my attention never got to that place. So I was never really bothered about it. And then couple of months into my healing, I was guided to move out of my parents' house because it was hampering a lot of my healing and everything. And when I did, after like within 1 year, I bought my own house from the rented. So at that time, like, when you are very young in your 20s and then suddenly things shift and then you're buying your own house and everything, people will say what not, right? And something similar happened um, in the family, within the family. And it was like, we know how she has bought the house and everything, like just to demean what I was doing, but everybody know what I was doing. I had a job, I had my I had already started to work on my purpose, not as an ascension coach, but I was working like other healing modalities and reader. So that is when somebody said something to someone, like, how things just keep passing on. And then, like, they called my dad and they were like, are you really worried about her? Do you not need to get her married? And she got a home and she's living with somebody. And like, I was not living with anybody. I had my cat I was living with. And do you not care what kind of a father are you and how did she get the money for the house and everything? So that is when, like, like a father who never listened to me but prioritized his other family first. That is when he was like, you do not need to tell me about what my daughter is doing, and I'm not going to listen to a single word that you're saying. And I know everything what she's doing, and I do not need to explain it to you. And I don't care about what you think. You come here because he lives somewhere outside of Delhi. So he was here for work, and he was like, you come here for work. It's best you do your work and go. If you're going to be more interested in what is happening in my family, I'm not going to take it, and then don't call me ever again. So that was like, where I felt that it's not necessary that you have to cut out from your family. And like, honestly, my relationship with my family has only gotten more supportive from like my mother, who used to be controlling. Like, she did not even realize she was controlling. Now all I see in her is compassion towards me. Like, whatever decision I make, whatever I do, wherever I go, she is like my biggest supporter. She knows everything that's even happening in my twin flame journey, from false twin flame to true twin flame. She was not very happy with the false twin flame, but she never said that I'm not happy. She's like, however you are at peace, I am with you. Then with the other like things, as things unfold, sometimes the finances are doing really good, sometimes the finances are like, falling apart. That is when you're claiming in more finances. It feels like everything is just gonna end. So like, my mom has always been there, my cousins have been there, my friends have been there. So things did, like, a lot of people came together. A lot of people also went like completely out of the picture. But then, like, my relationships did really get strong, even with the people who are not doing their inner work. They don't understand what I'm doing, but they're very appreciative of who I am today. So that's there. You're on mute.
I want to ask you this. So when you started your journey, did you expect support of your father in the following years? Or it
Um,
was just like out of the blue?
so to be honest, like, couple of years ago, like almost a decade ago, my paternal uncle died due to something. After that, and that is when I was like, I completed my high school and I was in college. So my dad kind of got into depression, and he had kind of like, so that is when he stopped saying anything to anybody. Like, I was home, I was not home, where I was going, who I was chilling with, and everything. He just completely turned inwards. So one thing that actually happened throughout my teenage years, like after, sorry, my when I was stepping into adulthood, was that he stopped saying anything. He stopped, like, how Indian parents are like a hawk on you, like they need to know everything. You're at work, what time you'll come home. So, and in my work, there was no time of coming back home. Sometimes I would come back at 8 in the night, sometimes it would be like 4 in the morning. So he kind of became somebody who would not care, because he was himself juggling into his own depression and everything and everything and everything. So right now also he's like, he knows that I'm living, I'm alive, and how I am, and he's fine about it. And that's all. So when I go to my mom's place, that is when we talk. He gets happy, he gets excited, he want to get, like, I'm a foodie, so he want to get everything that I like, and he want me to try everything. But then the moment I'm back in my home, we would not speak for 15 days, and that's fine. Like, if he has some work, he's going to call me, otherwise he's okay. So if I did not expect his support, I did not even expect him to go against me, which didn't happen. And that does not happen in my, like, I'm very blessed that ways that um, nobody actually went against me ever. Like, even if they're not very happy with me doing something or not, they've just loved me, and they would give their advice, but they would not stop me. So that's how my family raised me.
That's like typical Indian family. Like fathers don't say it, but yeah, they definitely know everything about us through moms. They love us.
Not even through my mom. Like he does not know. He
Okay.
just know that I'm alive. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing this. Asha, would you like to go next? Would you like to
Okay,
share your
so
breakthrough?
my breakthrough. I don't know, it's like, should I call it as breakthrough? But probably an experience I would really love to share. Maybe people who struggle in terms of finance is a big piece for many, right? Even if I just hear from many, like, oh, I don't have money for coaching, I don't have money to, maybe like invest here, buy classes. It's like a bigger topic. Yeah, it's again, I'm just bringing like how God work with you. So I just wanted to talk about like my visit to the spiritual summit happened in US last year, last year. Was it last year?
Last year, yes.
Last year, yeah.
July, June, July, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, like I wasn't planning, obviously, like when they started announcing, because I had an idea that, oh, okay, I don't have enough money to go to US and all that stuff, and also I had my visa at that time, but still I didn't bother much. But then as it was like getting close to the summit, somewhere I started this desire. The moment I had this desire, and when she like given, I was like, I'm feeling like, going to the summit, shall we plan? So she was like, giving that spark in that desire. So the moment it comes in, then you want to do. But obviously, I had finance constraint, and everything I want to do something, my sons come and stand in front of me. They demand, and things will be there, and like my son's fee and my summit. I didn't have for both, the money, and I was literally struggling to how do I arrange finance and everything. I literally like it was like you become upside down. All healing you do, nothing is working. Why it's not working? Just because every time, naturally, as mom, your son's things comes in, you put them as first, right? You just forget that. So because for me, like obviously I need to pay the fee, and it's very important part for me. Then healing, nothing is working out, no sign, no door is opening. um so by the time I had my visa, I had US visa, so it has to be renewed. Somehow it happened very effortlessly. Like, so then later I realized, okay, I put my union, deeper it is my union, put my sons up. So then again I realized I had to do the other way. My union now up. First is like my choice, choosing me, and then sons, I have to give them to God and see whatever happens, let me see. So sometimes you have to take that leap of faith, give it to God's hand completely. And after that, I don't know how it worked. My finance thing, somewhere it is open, but it was not also that easy that, God has given you so much of money, go and, do stuff. So I was able to pay my son's fee. I was able to pay my tickets. Accommodation was arranged through another friend because that time she stepped in and all that stuff. And yeah, there were a lot of drama happened anyway. I'm not getting into that because I just want to give this finance as the major thing. And I'm like about to travel in the morning. This friend who said she can't come because some reason she has to cancel. I'm like, now what? Two people supposed to.
Convinsha?
No, it was another friend.
Okay.
So now people are supposed to come in because I'm also somewhere your mind also start working, right? I was also okay, two people are there, something happens like finance, if you don't have money, someone is there with you, right? There's like that kind of relief. Like both of them are not coming. What will I do going there? Because I have a credit card. I didn't have even single penny in my hand, like cash, no cash. And that credit card is also new, and I'm not sure. It's an Italian credit card, and I didn't try, so I have no idea whether it will work in US because I couldn't call the what do you say the what do you say the bank and all that stuff. Even ticket booking was very funny. When I tried with this credit card, it didn't work, and I I was like 2 days before I'm booking the ticket, I got very a panic and I called up UK, it was through which airlines, it was a UK airline, something, So I called UK, they said like in pound it is going to be too much. So I'm doing mirror exercise and all that stuff. Finally, like he said, okay, let me check in Italian market because it's less price here. But he was able to give me the Italian price. So it was okay. Then I was able to, because I have like fixed cash, all this like bucketed and I cannot spend more than that. So then I was like, okay, nice. So the idea was like we all meet in London. From there, we will travel together. So for me, from London, people are there. For till London, I don't have any expense, like only my train and thing. So that was fine. So London, anyway, we will meet. We have like people to go. So I'm taken care of financially because people are there, to take care of me. So she says she can't come. Another lady, she also postponed something. So no one is there. Now from London, I'm alone. I'm like, what if the car didn't work? Because I'm reaching midnight, almost like evening 10 o'clock something. What if the car didn't work in the cab? What will I do? I know people are there. Obviously, I was thinking I can call up anyone in TFU. People will be there, but still, you have that fear, right? What if mobile doesn't work? Because sometimes your mobile international also didn't work in other countries. I have no idea whether it will work or not. So all these things. And I reached US, like I forgot the airport name also, but whatever. Yes, my luggage didn't arrive. Luggage was lost in London. Lost means it didn't board the flight. And I'm like, this lady is coming, your luggage didn't come. I'm like, what? What am I supposed to do? I put my cabin bag also in the check-in. Okay, literally I don't have anything. I'm like, what are you saying? But don't worry, you can buy stuff, then you can bill it. And she gave me a hug and all that. No, you go on board. And I don't have time also to think, because my next flight is scheduled just after that. I have to run. So I can't think, I have to run. So I just went ahead. I was just there. The gate was about to close. I boarded. I landed. Then the reception, the flight, there I was like, I had to report, obviously, the report and all. So standing. So all this thing. The magic here is like my twin flames calling me, who was not talking to me for like 1.5 months. His 7-8 missed calls, that was probably the breakthrough. Then, and I was like talking, and then like another staff who is there, he was like, where you want to go? And I given the hotel name. He said, okay, I can drop you because I'm going through that way. I might have to take little diversion, but still I can drop you. I was like, okay, good deal because I don't have money. So he dropped me very safely and he made sure, he said, go inside the hotel and see it's the same hotel or not. So I went, checked. I said, yes, the same hotel. He said, okay, fine. He made sure that I'm safe. So then the funny part is like, I'm a girl who really like to shop. And if I go to any new country, I have to shop. It's a mandatory thing because, I like to do that. So this time I was sure I don't have money. I can't even buy even, one, pen from that place. But my luggage didn't come. And I'm talking to my son. He's like, yeah, you go and shop. They will refund you, I just want to hear from someone like, you go and shop. Yeah, it's a good idea. Because I get refund anyway. So I'm not spending. I went and did 30 or 35,000 shopping. Having no money, you shop. This is how God show up like financially, right? So this is like a finance lesson. And of course, after that, my finance lesson started and all my stuff, So it was my hardest again the time after that, which I have to go through my learnings, contrast experiences, all the stuff. But this one I will never forget. And thanks to Anwen Chefs for putting that spark, but sometimes you have to take the leap of faith. But to be honest, I was a bit scared of that experience also. But then I had to do the same thing again, taking that leap of faith. I just couldn't do. Then I like invited some contrast experiences. I'm still going through healing that now. But yeah, sometimes you do, then you get scared of that experience. So sometimes you will not have to, but maybe it's for your good thing. Will have to, build your foundation, right? So maybe that contrast experiences are required sometimes. So it's okay.
You
Very
remember
true.
that?
Long time.
Do you remember that when
Yeah, I want to share this. Sorry, I'm
no, please. So she was at the
yeah.
I was on the call, like before leaving from her house, and she calls me. So the other person who was supposed to meet her, I got both of them in touch. That now that I'm not going, you guys get in touch. Um, and then she's not able to board her flight, like the other friend, and she was stopped at the airport that you do not your flight has a layover in UK, but you do not have UK visa. Let's say the flight gets cancelled or anything, you will not be able to board because she had some other reason. Usually that is not the case, and that is when she's like, she's not coming. I can't go. I think I will also not go. And because I was not able to go, I did not get my visa. There's this part of me, like the ego part of me, like now nobody is going. So I'm also at peace that I'm not. But then I'm also pushing, you have to heal. And she's like, I don't have time to heal. I have to pack. And I'm constantly telling, you have to heal, you have to heal. So lastly, she gets to the airport. And then she's like, I don't know, I can't recognize this place. Where do I go? And it's not that she's not traveled before. I'm like, Asha, heal. No, I can't heal right now. I have to go. And then I'm like, no, Asha, heal. And then her hotel got booked because we, like, while she was figuring her way out at the airport, because she forgot everything at the airport. And me and this other friend are like, trying to arrange for, like, because her flight, like, she's not able to board and all of that happened. And we booked another hotel for her and, like, constant calls and this. And then finally she gets a time and, like, mirror exercise, please. And then she's like, okay. She sat, I helped her move through it. And then imagine what? She was at the wrong door.
You know, my my boarding was at somewhere 21. I'm at 80. Imagine the distance. It's almost half an hour for the gate to close. I'm like, shit, half of the winner says I'm at the wrong place.
Up until she didn't know, she forgot everything. The moment she exercised, and I'm at the wrong place to run, and then she starts to run. She starts to run, and then she's like, and also with when your twin flame called, like she called me the moment she got down on airport, and she's like, you know what? I was like, what? You should listen to that class, Express Your Beauty. And I was like, what? No, you listen to it right now. I was like, what? No, you have to listen to it. There's a message for you. And I was like, okay, what is the message? There's that craving for your twin flame, that hunger for your twin flame has not gone. And I watched that class and I healed that craving only throughout my flight. For all 6-7 hours she was on the flight. And that is when her twin flame called her. So again, it was like, she was there at the summit because I couldn't go because I also had my own upsets to move through. I didn't get my visa. While others who applied after me, everybody got their visa dates before me and their visa got approved. So, are you guys there? Nobody.
Yeah.
We lost in here.
I thought the freeze has come here again. So, so I start to watch this class. Now Asha's twin flame called her. Now I also have to watch this class and start heal. but then, but then that didn't happen. So we were like constantly in touch. Any workshop, everything that was happening there, she would come, call, and all of that. Like, so we did like receive a lot of healing from the summit.
It was such a way. The other two friends should not feel bad, but God didn't accept that shopping. God didn't allow me to pay anything during the days, So they taken care of everything, then I have to pay back to them. But that somehow it was like that so compassion. God has, taken care of everything. So yeah. Till the flight I was boarding, I was telling like, I'm not going because so much of fear inside. Like, I'm not going, I can't go.
But that was the case with you and the other person. I was like, no, go, please, go. She missed her flight. And now that when she was booking the flight from India, The flight prices last day went up to 5 lakhs. And then she's like, I don't have the money. That's when her twin flame showed up, like, take the money, just go. You have to go. You have to go. So God does show up, be it through your twin flame or people around you. God does show up. Like, that's the best feeling.
Yeah. So now when people like, when we talk about the summit, people say that no, I don't have money, I'm like scared. I was like, then I literally remember this experience, like you don't know, you just make a choice and just go, You don't
There is
have to.
something just reminds me. God also takes a stick at times and just like throws away all your plans. I remember there was this time. There were three or four of us, and so one of the friends, he crashed the rented car. And so, there are times when God just comes and you just,
Goa.
Go okay.
Oh God, I was like a disaster.
he, he took a car, then someone else was driving it. He crashed the car in Goa.
Driving the car he took, but I did not crash it.
Yeah, Anvensha did not crash it. The car was rented on Anvensha's name. The person who was
Oh,
driving
okay.
it, he
Got
did
it.
not. He was driving. The road was empty, and to be very honest, the whole road was empty, and he just crashed into the divider.
No, no,
I
no. The
mean,
funny part was when we asked him about the driving license, he says, I don't have a license.
Oh,
And the
okay.
car company is behind us. That was
and
funny.
like I remember the next one and a half day, like the whole day went inside. Like, oh my God, that was. So when you don't make plans with God, there are also chances
No,
that God.
no. The plan was just to stay in Goa at one place and just be there. That was the ideal plan. But then, when you are in a party zone, you get ungrounded, you go high, and then you want to explore everything again. So that is when it all went wrong.
Another thing was we had the place was a reasonable place. Okay, it was a little on the expensive side, but no one saw the price list, and it was something basic that we were ordering, and that basic thing was the most expensive thing. It was like a lemonade that should cost maybe 100 rupees in Goa, but one specific lemonade which they were charging around 800 or 1000 rupees for the same thing, but just in a different name. And we kept on ordering lemonades. No one saw the price list. And when the final bill came, we were like all jumping through the roof.
Like, who's going to pay? So I went on a budget trip to Goa, and the entire budget that, like, after the summit, I plan to extend my stay for 3 days. So the budget that I had for all 3 days went into that single restaurant.
Like we assumed that the bill would come around 5 to 10,000 for
It
the
was
four of us.
it was 5 times of it.
So like the bill came, the bill was like 50,000 rupees.
And
And on top of that, the car crashed.
on the top of it, the car crashes. But I feel like Sudhikya wants to say something. We're not giving her space at all.
We just hijacked your space so we can.
No, I'm just listening. Trust me, I'm just.
She's taking she's like having fun.
Yeah, something similar happened to Sudhikya and Rishikesh. Like everyone was reaching the Rishikesh, and Sudhikya fell ill, and I like, I'm not.
No, but my thing was like, very well planned. I have like really no idea how I fell ill in Rishikesh. It was cut to the plan, everything. But the moment I think morning, the summit morning, right? I woke up with a high fever. And then I was like full in fever.
And the moment the summit finally ended, like officially, the summit closed. Like if suppose it's like 2 p.m. and the summit is like now over, and then she's like, yeah, I'm feeling fine now.
No, because I had
That's
medicines and all, so then it was fine. But like next morning, I felt better. But that period when it was like they were going for the Ganga Aarti and everything, so I feel there were a lot of upsets for me around that region in general. Okay, lot of upsets like coming up. So I think since it was karma clearing, I was doing it in that way, like, falling sick, upheaving, because my story was very different. Like, I don't want to go into complete details right now. It's very personal. And yeah, but then it was extremely, like, things, feelings, a lot of things were coming up. And I think I healed. Like, the purpose of the summit was met, but I did it in my own way by, falling extremely sick.
This happened with me when I went to Khajuraho the first time. Like,
Hmm.
the day I booked my tickets, I had viral, and then I was like, "Oh, I have my flight next week, so I'll be fine." I reached Khajuraho, and I have 104 fever. Like, I had a huge fight with this person who I like, my false twin flame, and then he blocked me. And then I wake up around 2 3, and that was also the first time, like, I got approved in Jeff and Shelia's class. So my map was happening, Jeff and Shelia's class was like, first map was happening, Jeff and Shelia's class was happening, like, and everything was happening. And my first class was in Khajuraho. So and then I wake up and I had 100 203 fever. I go to the reception, and I was staying in the same hotel that we have for Khajuraho India Summit.
Chandela.
Yeah, Chandela. And like, we can get you medicine, but sadly it was like 3 a.m. and they couldn't find thermometer. And then I'm like, I really need to go to Eastern and Western Union Temple. And then I get up in the morning tomorrow. I still have fever. I have cough. I have cold. And the massive support that I received there, like masculine support that I received there, from the auto bhaiya that I hired for 3 days, to the guide, to the priest I met there in the temple. And, like, I just went to like the Kandariya Mahadev temple that we have in plan for the Khajuraho summit also. I just went and I meditated there. And it felt like, something is just washing off, like, washing off. And it just kept on releasing, 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 releasing. And that was my experience throughout Eastern and Western Union Temple, because those are like the, according to like Sanatan Dharma, those are like the Khandit temples. They're not worshipped, apart from Kandariya Mahadev temple, because the murtis and everything was like, attacked by the Mughals and then the British Empire. So we don't worship. But at that time when the temples were built, the temples were worshipped by the Chandelas, and the energy is so potent, so sacred there, that I was in this upheaval for like 15 days. I had fever, and I took literally like my throat infection medicine like for a month. And then finally I had to like change 3 doctors. Finally, like, some huge test happened, and I was like, that is when I got better, like, even after coming back. So yes, sometimes you're just upheaving that ways. And I totally understand, like, even when like I was leaving for Rishikesh, so Aditya, me, and this person who crashed the Goa car came back together from Rishikesh to Delhi. And we left Rishikesh, and I was just sitting, and I started to cry, and I cried, and I cried, and I couldn't stop. I was sobbing, and I could not stop. Like, I didn't know why I was crying, but there's just this heaviness that is releasing, releasing. And I cried till Rishikesh, like, we left from Rishikesh, and I cried till Haridwar. And it felt like
I
all,
remember why you were crying.
like, yeah, I know, like, all the ancestors, it like the energy, like, because it was karma clearing. And when we were planning that event, that is when Asha was also helping me a lot to move through my own upsets, like, because there was so much coming up, and it felt like, every other day I used to feel some presence in my house. And Rishikesh is a place, Haridwar, Rishikesh, where you do that Asti Visarjan. I used to feel so much of presence in my house. My cat was howling every other night, and all of this. And like, this very strange thing happened. And I know we have crossed like the time limit of this podcast, but I really
That's okay. Yeah.
is. So basically, it was like that all these entities that are stuck on some plane, and what was channeled to me is that as twin flames, we come together, and the energy becomes like so potent and high that it will, like, they will find that from that energy of peace together, it will get somehow released. And when you're releasing the karmas, um, it's like you're creating that sacred space. So we planned Ganga Aarti on some ghat. And then because it was monsoon as well, so the levels of Ganges was like, really high. So we couldn't go there. And then, so Dika, you were not there. We were in the bus. We leave in the morning. And that is when one day Abir and I reached earlier. And the hotel suggested some ghat that was nearby. And they took us, and we were like, we can do Ganga Aarti here also. Change the plan overnight. Okay. Then we came back, and the bus driver, like Abir and I, were sitting together talking about how things were going on. And we told the bus driver, the Panditji who was supposed to do the Ganga Aarti, that we will go to that particular ghat, and they forgot. And we came to Rishikesh border, and then we were like, we like that ghat was and like has been left behind. So we took a U-turn, like, and we were like, oh, there's a ghat nearby also, and we were like, whatever God's plan, we'll do that. And suddenly something changed in driver's head again. He took a U-turn, and he was like, no, no, we'll go to that ghat only. We went to that ghat, and then there were two ghats on that ghat, one for the Ganga Aarti, and Panditji was waiting for us there, and there was no network, and we were at some other ghat. And then Panditji came because we were coordinating. Somehow the network got connected, and he came, and he was like, let's do the Aarti here on. After he did the Aarti, and he was like, this is where you do the Asti Visarjan. This is not the Aarti ghat. This is the Visarjan ghat. So even though we didn't plan, that's how it happened. So when I was leaving from Rishikesh, like the last day, we extended our stay. That is when it felt like something is just in air, going, and it was like releasing through my all my, like, I was cried. Then we stayed in Haridwar. We did all the some pujas and everything, and that is when that energy felt lighter, like that ancestral clearing along with the karma clearing that we did. So our cleaning happened that ways. So I feel like all the retreats, like, people may have this question, it's like happening, but we also do need to realize that India is like a very spiritually connected land. There's so much here that even if we plan one retreat every month, we'll still get somewhere, like, that ways. So, like, there's so much happening, and every event that is happening is bringing such extreme, powerful changes. Like, I experienced that with um, karma clearing. It happened with Goa, but Goa was more of romance, so it was a light energy. But then this is Khajuraho. So again, it's intense energy like it was in Rishikesh. So it will bring up so much of stuff in people, uncomfortable feeling, and then somehow they feel like, oh, I am not feeling aligned to it. It's not that you're not feeling aligned to it. It's just that you're scared of the same thing that we are bringing to you. And like I have experienced that in my, like, this event starts traumas on surface. This event starts so many things that I've unmasked for so long comes on surface. Same, I feel like with Asha, like we both of us are experiencing that all together. Like so much of healing, like it's like you're like getting churned in a machine where there is like no specific thing that you're getting triggered with, but you're getting triggered with everything, every damn person you know. And that's how it is. But as we are moving through, I feel like it feels good, great, many breakthroughs along.
It was in the first class or the second class TFAS. Jeff says that you might feel that you're dying. You might feel
First
like,
class,
yeah,
but you will not die.
but you will not die. This
Yeah,
is just a phase of a transition phase, and
yeah.
you know.
So
I
Jan,
also remember we started at around 10:30 or 11. from Rishikesh, and we were
Website.
supposed, yeah, and we were supposed to reach Delhi by 6 o'clock. We had planned that, okay, we'll start at 11 and we'll reach by 6. But yeah, God's plan was very different. We went to a wonderful Naina Devi temple. No, not Naina Devi.
Devi.
Hmm?
Mansa Devi temple.
Mansa Devi temple, and we had wonderful Ganga Aarti. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like January was the month where Asha and I started to connect for this retreat, for this event. January, February, March, April, May, June. Like for me have been like um that same situation. I'm gonna die. But I didn't. I didn't.
No, and we are extremely supported. I mean,
Yeah.
I personally am going through one hell of a roller coaster ride right now, but I just know that I'm supported and I'm taking each day as it comes.
Yeah.
My daughter is not here with me, but energetically she's always here, and so it's always like God is always trying to help you. God is always here to teach you. All we need to do is just surrender that ego thing that we know better, or we are expecting this, so we want it to unfold in certain manner.
Yeah. I feel this went like too deep.
This is a wonderful podcast. I mean,
Yeah,
even
so,
the
so you want to share more. So I feel so.
Oh, I think I'm feeling good. I feel that for me personally, like it is becoming like as I'm choosing grounding into union, it's like all my life is getting grounded into God. Like there is nothing on the external I can depend on. Like nothing, literally nothing on the external I can depend on. So that is triggering, like, I was telling the milkshake situation, the same thing which Anminja mentioned. Everything is coming up together. Yes, but I feel that that allows also like everything which is not God to escape your system much faster. So like I'm not hating it, like it is difficult, but yeah, I'm just trusting the process and allowing the grounding to occur.
आई फील दैट रायता फैलता है हर बार और बड़ा रायता फैलता है और हम धीरे धीरे ना बस यूज टू होते जाते हैं हाँ ठीक है अब कितना भी बड़ा फैल जाए इट वोंट लाइक
Yeah,
या इट वोंट लाइक बी एबल टू stop us from continuing in this journey.
Like the
yeah.
first time वो feeling होती है shit यार सफाई करनी पड़ेगी. But then by the 100 times like दोबारा फैल गया चल कहाँ है कपड़ा कहाँ है ये करो साफ. So
Yeah,
then you
everything
also
that falls
start
apart, it just comes back. Everything that falls apart, and we feel, oh, this might be the end of it. And like, no, it's a beautiful start to something new.
Yeah, yeah. And Asha, you have something to share.
I'm waiting for the ambulance to go. You just, I don't know, you can hear the.
Can't hear it.
The mic is not
Okay.
picking it up.
Okay, then it's good. Because there's a huge sound, my windows are open, it's huge sound. So we hear it when the ambulance goes, it's like, 5 minutes, like that sound.
God sign.
Mhm.
God sign for you to share something.
Okay, so I sort of feel complete from my end, like what I wanted to share, but if God is asking me something else, but I think, yeah, maybe this is like, so this journey is, so who are like, probably like when you starting the journey, especially to those who just starting the journey, like, so you might feel like there are a lot of things to do. It's very sort of like difficult and dramatic kind of, situations. But the point is like, this is a very different journey from what you have seen in all your life. So a lot of things what we are speaking though, like 3 4 of us is like You plan something, but it doesn't work. Because why it doesn't work? Because that construct what you have built in your ego life, that has to go. It has to, it has to break, and you have to build it. It's like a building a new building from the foundation, with a proper foundation. So that's what happened, because whatever you have done in the past is not relevant for your the current life, the life you are in this journey. So you will have to build a new foundation and a new life. So that feels like a lot of fear, because literally you're letting go of your past. And letting go is like difficult for everyone, right? Whether it is the person or career or something else, because you have a lot of things associated with that. But my learning so far is like completely like letting go, and how I can build faith in this journey, because your faith is shaken in this journey. That's what I experienced so far. Like, that has been tested to the core, that you will feel God is not even there. But from there again, you rebuild, how even when I was sharing things, I was also kind of recollecting how God has supported me all through my life. Even when I was not doing any spiritual work and all the stuff, He was there literally. But then it was a realization for me as I was speaking. So it's like building that foundation, letting go of fear, building having that faith, building that faith. I think that is actually the journey, is like it's about letting go the fear, whatever you are holding on. It can seem as person, career, some object, whatever it is, but that's how you will be tested again and again and again, and you will be put into that place. You literally have to heal. Especially that's what Anvansha was saying about the event stuff. Like, I have been taken into the places where I was not even seeing that, not touching that. It's literally like, removing your cloth and, you know, putting you there in that point where literally you're on top of that, I don't know how to say that. It's like you're walking on that coal, which is like burning, right? It's literally like that. But yeah, so you will have to do that, and everyone have to, and I'm sure. And so that's what journey is about. It's so who are the messages, like, just walk the path, and God is always there, is what I actually wanted to share. It's just coming like that now. Maybe it's again for a realization. Me, I'm
No,
talking.
no, I remember when you said this. I think Anvensha was not there. So, so last time when we were talking, so when Khajuraho came up and it was like Khandit, we were talking about Khandit and the temples were broken, and we were like, oh yeah, like the foundation has to break in order for us to rebuild the whole foundation. And we spoke about that, like, tower moments after tower moments, everyone is receiving one of them.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's like Khajuraho is like the place where we receive our tower moments when we go to these temples and see that irrespective of what has been taken away from them, but still they're there. And irrespective of what is being taken from us, I'm sure we are just cleaning up that old foundation so that a beautiful new one can be built upon this.
I feel to say that, I don't know, when last time also I did the same thing. I feel to say that whatever has been taken away from you, that's your desire. Like, it has been taken away from as external, whatever the life had shown us so far. So whatever has been taken away from you, it's giving back from Khajuraho. Like, you're getting back everything.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. Like tower moments after tower moments, so that that foundation can be, built again with God, on God. And that's your heaven on earth.
Mm. What's the key? What do you feel?
Yeah, I just
You are like you're like the esteemed guest,
Your eyes.
No, I'm feeling that, yeah, I think it's very important, like to cultivate faith also, because we don't know a moment is actually going to, give us a better time in the future. And when you're in that darkness, it's so important to just have blind faith that it is going to work out no matter what. And I think cultivating that for me has been something I've been doing like for last few months, where entire existence is getting sort of uprooted, whatever I had based on. Anything which I had thought that, okay, this is some kind of stability that I could base my life on, everything is just sort of going away. And because of that, I'm reading a lot of, like, spiritual books around people who used to like do spiritual work before. Like, I was reading a lot about Anandamahima and how the kind of faith that she cultivated in herself, where she was so aware of life being like, a play, that she never questioned it, that, where is God taking her. And as I'm going through this whole journey, every like night I make sure that I'm in that mindset that, I know that yes, everything is happening because God still has, that God has actually written the steps. It's not like you're falling or you're going to trip or you're losing your narrative completely. I think that knowing, the more I remain in that experience, in that zone, and with this book, along with this book, like with the teachings itself, that the more I cultivate that mindset that yes, things are going to go wrong, and it is designed to go wrong in a way that it shatters your ego and brings you completely into the awareness of God. And through this awareness only you will get God, when everything shatters and you still see that things actually don't, as you said, right, about the temples. So building that mindset itself is, I think, the key to union, because I've seen that the more faith I have put on my journey, like almost blind faith that I have put on my journey, the more the path has unfolded before me. And with each choice, God is asking me to even surrender deeper, like, put more faith. Things which I knew in life, where the way things used to work out, those things are completely getting invalidated. And like something else is coming up as the truth for me. So honoring that truth and living my life in that truth and building the foundation in the truth of God, that is something which I'm learning rather than ego or any stories. I
Sweet.
think I'm complete. Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying something?
No, no, I think I feel complete.
Feel complete too.
Yeah, me too.
Thank
So
you
I think
everyone
Yeah.
for joining us in this wonderful podcast. So this is a series of podcast, and please do watch us on YouTube, and please do comment if you feel like sharing your story or sharing your experience with us. And the Twin Flame Summit is happening this year in Khajuraho, and the date is again 11/11, the Union Portal. So please do join us for this beautiful summit, beautiful event that is happening. And just to give you all a reminder, two people who are already in their Harmonious Twin Flame Union that is happening, and like they are going to join us. So this was the first time that something that is like that is happening in India. And so you will be able to spend those beautiful 3 days with them, around them, and you will be able to see their energies. You will be able to talk to them, see how they be with each other, how does the energy feel, what does the real twin flame connection bring to your to you. So this is a wonderful opportunity. If you would like to receive some support or if you have some doubts, questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us. And so, thank you once again, and uh, see you in the next podcast. Thank you.